Hey guys, welcome back to Journey with Rebecca. My name is Rebecca, and today we're talking all things purple dead nettle. It's finally springtime. Spring is finally springing. It's finally stopped raining where I live, and so I was able to go outside in the backyard today and forage for some purple dead nettle. Foraging in my backyard is honestly one of my favorite things to do, and it makes me so beyond happy. There's so many things just growing in my backyard that are considered weeds that are actually good for you, and they're actually herbs, not weeds. And so I just wanted to tell you all about it today and hopefully get you as excited about backyard foraging as I am. I'm so excited to get out all of my medicinal books, knock the dust off my dehydrator, and get into the backyard and do some foraging for some medicinal plants. So this is actually purple dead nettle, and if you have a backyard or if you've ever been to a park or anywhere that grass grows, basically you've probably seen this. A lot of people consider it a weed. It is actually an herb, and it's actually part of the mint family, and you can discern that by its square stem and its heart-shaped leaves that kind of cluster at the top. And there are a couple of plants that actually look like this as well. I'm not going to get totally into them, but I do have an example of one. So I do have some creeping Charlie that I found in my backyard as well. Henbit, creeping Charlie, and purple dead nettle are all things that look very similar, but you want to be able to distinguish one from the other depending upon what you're going to use them for. And I think it goes without saying, but always consult with your doctor first if you're going to start using herbs or things like that you're foraging outside, especially if you're nursing or pregnant. And another really important thing too is if you're going to be outside and you're going to be doing foraging, please make sure that you're doing it in a place that has not been treated with pesticides. I prefer to forage right in my own backyard because I know exactly what is in the backyard, and there's no chemicals or anything back there that are going to be harmful for me to ingest. So two very important things if you're going to start foraging in your backyard. Anywho, back to the creeping Charlie. Like I said, these are all very similar. They all have purplish, pinkish flowers on them. But once you know the difference between them, it's very easy to take a look and identify them. So I went out and I picked a whole basket of purple dead nettle, and there's so much more out there. So I've left plenty for the bees. But what I'm going to do today is actually make a tea with it. So a couple seasons ago, I made a salve out of purple dead nettle, and I loved it, and I'm out of it, and I probably should make some more. But right now, I'm currently still using up the rest of the dandelion salve that I made. I think that was last season. So before I make any more, I am going to use up what I have. But they make a really great gift idea too if you're looking for any sort of homemade gift idea for anyone. First thing I'm going to do is get the nettle all rinsed off. This will get off any dirt, debris, or pollen that may be on there. Just give it a quick rinse and put it in between some towels to dry off any excess water. So there's a couple of important facts about purple dead nettle that I want to share with you about why it's such a great thing to have and make use of. So it's a couple things. It's an astringent, it's a diuretic, it's a diaphoretic, and a purgative. And those are all really fancy words, but what it basically boils down to is that it constricts your skin or tightens your pores or body tissues, and it makes you poop, it makes you pee, and it makes you sweat. All of those things in plain terms. Obviously, you don't want too much of it because you don't want too many of those things to be going on in your life. It's also an anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antifungal. And it has so many uses. You can use it as a poultice, which is basically say you're out like hiking somewhere and you get a cut on yourself. Find yourself some purple dead nettle, chew up the leaves, and then put those chewed up leaves right on your wound, and it can help with any sort of bleeding that you have going on. You can make a salve, you can infuse oil, you can make a tea, which is what I'm doing today. Add it to salads, make a pesto, make a tincture with it. There are really so many uses for this weed, quote unquote, that's growing right in your backyard. So I am making just a simple tea today, which you can do a couple of ways, and then you can obviously add things to your tea to make it to your liking. So I'm just taking the purple dead nettle that I've already washed, and it's been sitting here drying. This tea that I'm making doesn't need to dry, obviously, because it's going to be going into liquid. But what I'm doing now is just taking the leaves from the nettle and putting it right into a little tea infuser. If you don't have a tea infuser, that's completely fine. You can just throw your leaves right into your mug, and when you're ready to be done steeping them, you can just fish them out, and it's no big deal. So I am just going to keep picking these leaves and fill my little tea ball it's not a diffuser, it's an infuser. And then I'm gonna throw it over some hot water. And then if you want to actually get all of the properties of the nettle, you wanna let it steep for at least a good 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can go ahead and add honey or whatever else it is that you might like to add into your tea. I have a whole home apothecary filled with other herbs and things like that, things that I've both foraged from the backyard and have gotten from grocery stores. Dandelion root would be a great thing if you wanted to add that into your tea. It really it's dependent upon you and what your taste and what you want to add to it. So I have my little tea diffuser here, and then I'm just going to add water and let it steep. And now while my tea is steeping, I want to be able to enjoy this tea further on down the road once it's all done blooming for the season. So I'm going to take the rest of it that I've harvested and pull the leaves off and actually just throw them on my dehydrating tray. I'm going to dehydrate them, add them to a glass jar, and then put them into my apothecary. So I have them the next time I want them. I can enjoy them during the winter months when the purple dead nettle is asleep, and just have it for later. I'm still working on taking all the leaves off of the nettle and putting it onto my dehydrator, which is kind of a long process, but I just kind of zone out, listen to a podcast. But this has been steeping for about 10 minutes, so I'm just going to take out the leaves and give it a try. And it just tastes like tea. I don't know. It doesn't have much of a taste to it. I think it's sweet as it is. It's actually really good and mild, and doesn't have any sort of like bitterness or anything to it. But if you wanted to add other herbs to this, or add sugar if you wanted to, or honey, that would be a great addition to this as well. But it's really good. This is honestly the first time I've ever had this as a tea, and I definitely am glad that I will be drying the leaves. Oh, you know what I do have? I have some dried lemon balm from my garden that would actually be really good in this. So I think next time I try this, I'm gonna do the lemon balm with the nettles. I think that would be really delicious, but it's good. I like it. My first batch of purple dead nettle is done from the dehydrator. It's a very small batch. I only did 3 trays and they weren't very full, but I have a lot going on today, and so I wanted to do a little bit, but there's still plenty left that I can do a bigger batch the next time I have a little bit more time. But stay tuned. Foraging season has just begun, and there's so many things outside that I want to pick and use and tell you about. There's violets and dandelions and chickweed and lilacs and all sorts of things that you can use medicinally or make into teas or salves, and they all make great homemade gift ideas too, so please stay tuned for that. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found value in it, and if you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all really soon. And also, what was I gonna say? Wyatt, no. Wait. One of the things that I did when I... What the heck? Stupid. Oh shit. What you're left with, oh my God, I almost just set my hair on fire.